and Professor Muhammad Yunus. Please give him a round of applause. His most recent book is titled A World of Three Zeros: The New Economics of Zero Poverty, Zero Unemployment, and Zero Net Carbon. Professor Muhammad Yunus is the father of both social business and microcredit, the founder of Grameen Bank, and also many other more businesses, up to 50 other companies in Bangladesh. Capitalism, as it is now practiced, recognizes only one goal: the selfish pursuit of individual profit. Only businesses designed around the goal and are recognized and supported. Elimination of poverty, unemployment, and environmental degradation can be dramatically reduced by running social businesses. So please welcome Professor Muhammad Yunus. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Well, I'm delighted to get a chance to brief you on what I have been doing. And the word microcredit probably is familiar with many people. It was something done accidentally. It's not pre-planned or anything like that. I was trying to protect some victims of loan sharks in the village next door to the university where I was teaching. And in order to do that, to protect the victims, the idea that I had, why don't I lend the money myself? If I lend the money, they don't have to go to loan shark. The problem is solved. I don't have to write a big thesis about it. Just go ahead and do it. And it's a very simple thing. Took the money from my pocket and started giving money. Anybody who needs money, come to me. Don't go to the loan shark. And that's how it began back in 1976. I had no idea that it will spill over to the next village or the next village. But it became very popular. It kept on expanding and expanding. That at one point, I thought, I cannot handle it anymore by myself, with my students with me. Why don't I create an institution, a banking institution, to create a bank for the poor people? Everybody laughed. Lending money to the poor people is strange. Now you're talking about bank for poor people. But I didn't give up. And finally, in 1983, we got all the clearances and so on, create a bank called Grameen Bank, and continued doing that. It became very popular within the country, outside the country. The word was coined to explain what we do. It's called microcredit, tiny loans. That word didn't exist in English literature. So they had to coin a word to describe what we do. People keep asking me, how did you design the whole bank that it works for the poor people? The whole world saying it cannot work. And you are insisting that it will work. I said that, best thing that happened to me in doing this, I never studied banking. I never took a course in banking. So I could do anything I want. So nobody is in the back of my mind telling you, you have to do this, you have to do that. I didn't follow any of those rules. I defied all those rules. To the extent I keep saying that, well, the reason it works, I didn't know the rules. So I look at the rules what the banks, conventional banks follow. Each time I look at their rules to see what I have to do, once I learn how they do it, I just do the opposite. And it worked. They go to the rich, I go to the poor. They go to men, I go to women. They do it at city center, I go to the remote village. They ask for collateral. I said, forget about collateral. No collateral. If you're dealing with the poor people, collateral doesn't help. It's a wall. So the entire system is based not on collateral at all. It's a mutual trust, if we have to explain anything like that. Conventional banks are owned by rich people. If you own a bank, you have to be a very rich person. We created a bank which is owned by poor people. Not only poor people, poor women. We focus on women. Today, in Bangladesh, Grameen Bank, the bank we created, has more than 9 million borrowers. Almost all of them are women. 97% are women. Destitute women, illiterate women, a woman who never crossed the boundary of our village. That's the woman. And it worked. And it is copied around the world. It's discussed in many ways. We were invited to do it in the United States because they are saying this doesn't work in the United States. I said, why? How come? Maybe you're not doing it the right way. They said, why don't you come and show us? So I decided to do that. I created a bank, or not a bank actually, an organization, Grameen America. Started in Jackson Heights, New York, in Queens, in 2008, January, beginning. And came out a beautiful branch of Grameen. And then everybody wanted to Grameen branch in their neighborhood. We want another one in our borough. You want another one in your borough. So now we have 7 branches in New York City. And other cities kept coming that we want in our city, our poor are worse than New York poor. So we said, okay. So we have now 22 branches in 14 cities of the United States. In total, there are more than 100,000 borrowers in all this together in the 10 years. All women, 100% women. The maximum loan amount that you can get in your first loan, a startup loan, is under $1,500. So you can imagine how desperate one has to be to work hard to get to that $1,500. And not all of them are $1,500. Some of them $700, some of them $800, and so on. But in total, we have given over $1 billion loan in the United States, with perfect repayment in every single branch in every single city. Near 100%. Always over 99.5%. No collateral, nothing, as we follow the same rules and procedure. We kept claiming, always from the beginning, I said, Grameen Bank is the only bank in the world which is lawyer-free. No lawyer in our system, because we don't need them. You need lawyer when you have to tie them up with their properties and things like that. We have nothing to tie them up. Of the 100,000 borrowers that we have in the United States, 60% of them are undocumented women. Imagine that. Not only women, undocumented. Nobody wants to go anywhere near them. They can be thrown out anytime, particularly with Trump in the White House. You don't know when they're going to thrown out. And these are the people that we gave in total $1 billion, and they pay me back every single penny. People ask me, why there is poverty? What is the reason? You have been working with poor people. I say it's very simple. Poverty is not created by the poor people. Poverty is created by the system that we build around us. It is not created by the persons who are poor. It is imposed phenomenon on those persons. Something came from externally. I try to explain it by saying it's like a bonsai. You know the bonsai tree? You take the seed of a very tall tree and put it in a flower pot. It grows only this big. It doesn't grow big. And you wonder what happened. Very simple explanation. You didn't give enough soil to grow. So it grew only to the extent of you provided the soil. Poor people, to me, are bonsai people. There's nothing wrong with their seed. Simply, society never gave them the space to grow as tall as anybody could be. And I put it this way. I said financial services like loans, insurances, and many other things, these are like financial oxygen to people. Like if you don't have oxygen in this room, we cannot breathe. Soon we'll all collapse. If you don't have the financial oxygen to people, economically people cannot breathe, cannot function. They become dysfunctional. And we call them poor people. It's not their fault. Simply you didn't give them the oxygen. The moment you connect them with oxygen, they become alive, active, creative like anybody else. That's what happens of the millions of women who took loans from Grameen and other such programs to change their life. I confront this issue again and again. how come we cannot get rid of poverty if that's so? I said, because you're not changing the institution. After 42 years of microcredit, with all those good things you talk about microcredit, Grameen Bank, you even gave a Nobel Peace Prize for that, but the financial system doesn't change. Banks don't change. I said the existing banks are actually bank for the rich, but we don't say that. We just call them banks. Whenever somebody introduces me, they say, he's a banker to the poor. I said, that's great. But would you say that to the other guy who runs the other kind of bank? Is the banker to the rich? You don't say that. So that remains hidden. The fact that it remains hidden, we are not aware of it. If we call them banker to the rich or bank for the rich, everybody will say, where is the bank for the poor? Bank for the poor doesn't exist. And that's the trouble we have. And that's not only that, the whole system that we built works only for the people privileged. It doesn't work for the people at the bottom. And that continues. Today, all the wealth of the world is getting concentrated and fewer hands. Everybody knows that. But we don't talk about it. We are told again and again this year that 8 people in the world own more wealth than the bottom 50% of the population of the world. 4 billion people's worth put together equals to the wealth of 8 persons. And we know those 8 persons. They're our friends. They're good people. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, you name them. And we'd love to take selfie with them. No problem. But that's the way wealth goes. If you look globally, 99% of the wealth belongs to 1% of the population of the entire world. In other words, 99% of the population of the world gets only 1% of the wealth of the world. And where do this 1% of the population live? Probably half a dozen countries, maybe 7 countries, 8 countries. That's where all these 1% people live. So all the wealth of the world is concentrated in their hands. What happens to the rest of the world, rest of the countries? They have to be satisfied with 1% of the total wealth of the entire world. What I keep reminding people, if this is true, if you are convinced this is true, this has been repeated many times, then this is a ticking time bomb. The whole world will explode in anger, in dissatisfaction, politically, economically, you name it. You see expressions of such anger in the politics of many countries already. And that's what I have been trying to talk about in the book that I just, this is the reason I'm here. It's called A World of Three Zeros. Just came out the Spanish version. The English version was published before. World of 3 zeros, 0 poverty, 0 unemployment, 0 net carbon emission. And we can create that world. Why can't we do it now? Because we cannot do it, our system is wrong. I keep repeating, if we follow the old roads, we always end up at the old destination. Old destination is poverty. Old destination is environmental degradation. Old destination is unemployment. So if you want to get out of it, a new destination, we have to build new roads. Old roads will never take you to a new destination. If you have something in your mind as a new destination, this is where we want to go. And it will have to be built, roads have to be built new. What I was trying to do, like I did microcredit, unknowingly, accidentally, but it needed by the people. When I was working with them, I saw many other problems with the poor people, not just financial services. Healthcare, water, sanitation, housing, you name it. So every time I look at those problems very closely, because I'm very close with them every day, I wanted to be somehow involved in it, helping them to solve it. I could solve it in a charity way. I bring some money, raise some funds, build a few houses, bring some money, have a health clinic. We all do that in our foundation, in the RNG activity. I didn't take that path. What I did, every time I see a problem, I create a business to solve it. Sounds very funny, but that's what I did. I created one after another, business after business. And these are businesses having some features. People identified that I'm doing some strange business. Strange because I don't want to make money out of it. Because the core cornerstone of a business is to make money. The more money you make, more successful you are. Here I'm saying I don't want to make money. I want to solve problem in a business way. Charity is a wonderful thing. Charity money goes out, does a wonderful thing, but money doesn't come back. I said, this is not a good idea for me. Why don't I create a business? And I had no intention of making money out of it, so it becomes more powerful and address the problem. And I call it social business. Non-dividend company to solve human problems. And I started creating one after another. So while charity money goes out, doesn't come back, social business money goes out, solves the problem, and money comes back because it's a business. Then you use the money again, and money comes back. You use the money again. So social business money has endless life. So it becomes very powerful. This is what I did. I created many, many companies. I have narrated this in the book. One just quick example, energy. Again, I became kind of upset that there is no electricity in the villages of Bangladesh. It's all dark after sun goes down. I said, my God, after all these years, still we have to live in a cave age. Why can't we do something about electricity? So one idea came, why don't we bring solar energy? So I created a company for solar energy to bring solar home system in every home. In the beginning, they said, no, we don't know whether this is going to work. Why should we pay? Then I gave them a challenge. I said, how much money you spend on kerosene? Because after all, you are using kerosene. How much money every month you spend? They say, well, I spend so much, I spend so much. I said, give me the kerosene money every month. I give you electricity. They thought this is a good idea. So I said, okay, it's a good idea. I give you electricity. If you don't like it, you return it. You don't have to pay me anything. And people loved it. And it became very popular. Today, we have more than 4 million homes in Bangladesh with solar home system. And it keeps growing. And we created the company not to make money, to solve the problem, so that we can bring electricity. The moment you bring electricity, everything opens up. You get you have television, you have phone, internet, whatever you say, because everybody has electricity. So this is one example of social business. And we continued, and many big companies became interested in us. So we are saying, why people don't do that? I said, the economic system went on a wrong path, the one capitalist system that we talk about, because they interpreted human being in a very narrow way. They interpreted human being as someone who is driven by self-interest. That's the core of a capitalist system. Human being driven by self-interest. In other words, entire economic system is run by selfish interest. So we became selfish because we believe in it. I said, capitalist system has put on glasses on our eyes with dollar sign or the euro sign. We don't see anything else. I said, what I'm trying to do is to bring bifocal glasses. You have dollar sign, you also have people sign. That's the social business. I say, real human being is both selfish and selfless. If you only accept that, then you have two kinds of business. Selfish business, we all do. Selfless business, we don't do, because it doesn't stay in, it's not included in our textbook. This is not taught on our class, it's not on our business school. That's the problem. We have it, but you don't use it. So if you use it, if you have all social businesses around the world, there will be no wealth concentration. It will be done. And social business is not to be done by the government. It's us, you and me. We do the social business and money-making business at the same time. Every company that you have can create a social business on the side. Already many companies have done that. I have illustrated that because don't have much time. And then I got involved, another thing. Many of the young people, the Grameen families, they have education because we gave them education loan. They have good degrees, but no jobs in Bangladesh. And they complain. I said, why are you complaining? Why are you looking for a job in the first place? I said, job is an obsolete idea. It is something misinterpreted, introduced by capitalist system. You have to work for somebody from the capitalist guy. You don't have to work for anybody. Human beings are not born in this planet to work for anybody. They get very puzzled. What kind of game is that? I said, look at your mother. Your mother joined Grameen Bank 20 years back. She's an illiterate woman. She mustered all her courage to take a $20, $25 loan to start a business. If your illiterate mother can become an entrepreneur by $25 loan, what's wrong with you? You know what's wrong with you? Your mother is a natural human being, like the way we were in this planet thousands of years back. She tried to address her problem, and she knew what to do, exactly what to do. She didn't worry about it. She had the courage to do that and got it done and gradually moved up. You became an artificial human being, I'm telling the son or the daughter, because you went to school. Your school converted into an artificial human being. All you see, your life is about taking a job. Job is not a destiny of a human being. I said human beings are born as entrepreneurs. So we should be entrepreneurs. So we tell them, go back to your mother and learn the things you have learned and be a natural human being again. Come back to us, come with a business idea. We'll invest in your business. We created a venture capital fund, social business venture capital fund. We become your investor. We become your partner. You make it successful, return the money. We are not interested in your profit because we are social business. We are a non-dividend company. So keep the profit and move on. Our job is to solve your problem so that you can be in your orbit. So now, thousands and thousands of young people come with the business ideas. We keep on investing. And right now, we have more than 1,000 young people per month that we invest. Many more thousands apply, but gradually they keep getting it. Nobody is rejected. Nobody is rejected, nobody is abandoned. So if everybody can become an entrepreneur, why do we have so much unemployment in the world? Even in Italy, they have 40% unemployment. South of Italy, they tell me there's 60% unemployment. I was introduced to Napoli by Mario, and he says, this is my problem. I said, you are looking for the wrong solution, trying to look for job. Job is not the solution. Job is an artificial solution. Human beings entrepreneur. So now we are setting up social business fund there as we do to create that. Kosovo, we have introduced something similar thing in Kosovo, so the young people in Kosovo can become entrepreneur by doing that. So this is another one. Capitalist system has directed in a wrong direction. So if you adopt this new rules or a new way, this is nothing, as I said, it is nothing imposed on you. These are options for every child, that you can be an entrepreneur or job seeker. But you can tell I'm not a job seeker, then I'm a job creator, then become an entrepreneur. That's up to you. But a school has to tell them. Today, schools tell us that our school produces job-ready young people. What a shame. Human beings are not robots, that you produce those robots to fit into the slots of the jobs. I keep telling young people, look, each human being has unlimited creative capacity. They can do anything they want. But job takes away all your creativity. Job is something which the only thing you have to do is to satisfy your boss. No creativity is needed. That's a routine work that you do. So you surrender your creativity. Why take options? Choose your thing. Now, last point. If all people really became entrepreneurs in the world, will there be wealth concentration? No. Because each of us will be picking up the wealth ourselves. We are the entrepreneurs. The rich people, the richest people, super rich, can get all the wealth because we work for them. We are the mercenaries for them. We work for them, and they make the money. They don't work. So why should we continue that process? Why can't we do it something that we share with everybody else? So that's the point that I raised in the book, that we need to build these new roads so that we can build this new world that we want, where there'll be no poverty, no unemployment. I keep repeating, unemployment is created through the concept of employment. If we didn't have the concept of employment, there will be no unemployment because we'll be doing our own thing. And zero net carbon emission, which everybody is familiar with, but urgency is not realized. We have only 30 years to go to save the planet. 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature by 2040. That is the time limit. Or if it's a worst case scenario, it is 2 degrees Celsius by 2050, which is 30 years from now. After that, we are in a point of no return. So whichever direction you see, you are up for trouble, up for extinction. So unless we get out and make sure this society doesn't explode because of wealth concentration, it doesn't dysfunctional, burned out planet by the 2050, we have to get the action going right now. Thank you very much.